a lot of people are talking about this word Groyper. What does that even mean? And could this man be one of them?
Yeah. All this stuff used to be so fringe, and now it's like at the center of politics, and it's a little bit difficult for me to believe.
It is a little wild.
But Groypers are the fans of the far-right podcaster Nick Fuentes. He's been around for a very long time. He was at Charlottesville. He was at Jan 6. Fuentes has long had a feud with Charlie Kirk, or had. He would show at his events. His fans would show up at their events, and they would ask Kirk leading questions intended to trigger Kirk into moving further to the right, particularly on immigration and gay rights. So Fuentes has totally disavowed this violence. He made a very forceful statement against that last night. But people are trying to tie this shooter to the Groypers because, and this is a little obscure, he posed in a squat in an Adidas tracksuit for a Halloween costume. His mom posted that he was being a man in a meme. Yeah, people have seen pictures of Pepe the Frog associated with the alt-right, dressed in that same tracksuit doing the squat. However, that meme itself is a reference to Eastern Europeans posing like that in Adidas tracksuits. So, like, again, like it's like grasping at...
Yeah, it's also mixed up.
People were so convinced it was some Latino trans person. They don't say trans person, they say the T slur. But nonetheless, the message is still clear what they're saying here. The other thing people are pointing to now is we know he came from this massive Trump family, this Republican family. In fact, the grandma came out and gave an interview, I believe, to the Daily Beast or somebody, and said, yeah, the whole family, we're all massively right-wing. Like, we're all Republican, we're all pro-Trump. He came from a family that was steeped in gun culture. I mean, there's 1,000 pictures of them with all sorts of guns. So he was raised in that environment. There's another sad picture of him. His mom took it of him. He was pretty young, and they had given him a computer, and he's sitting there on the computer, and the mom says something about how, like, we never see him anymore because he's on the computer all day. And it's like, oh my God, this is part of the problem. This is what helped lead to the radicalization. So you have all that, but now people are pointing out, and I didn't catch this before our last segment, but in 2018, on Halloween, he dressed as this Pepe meme. And the Pepe meme is one that was floating around in Nazi circles, white nationalist circles, white supremacist circles, Groyper circles. And so everybody's pointing this out and going, uh-oh, he almost certainly was in that crew. So now, I think the debate is kind of settled. And you can see based on the reaction of the right that they know. You could see based on the reaction of the right that they know. Oops, all that talk of civil war and the left are evil and the left are horrible and we're going to destroy them all. And then now it's like, oh shit, it was another one of your people, right? Just like with the Trump shooting.
Several days later.
Last time I talked to you guys, I was pretty convinced that the person who did this shooting is far right. I was pretty convinced. Now I'm going to walk through it with you why I was convinced that the person is far right. But also, now I'm not so sure because I keep coming back to professional hit job. This looks professional. There's so many things that don't add up and make no sense and are contradictory. The official story just crumbles in on itself immediately.
Specific motive was, we haven't heard it from him. But that is not stopping the political fight over what he believes.
There's a lot we don't know yet about the suspect and what his motive truly was.
We don't know very much about his ideology.
We don't know what the motive is yet.
There is no motive as of yet.
The initial reaction of so many people is to try to prove that this killer was a left-winger.
Candidly, there's been too much discussion from politicians getting ahead of this subject and speculating about left-wing ideologies and that sort of thing.
Many prominent right-wing voices blaming the political left for something that, frankly, the investigation is still very much in its early stages. There's a lot we don't know.
They took to social media very quickly, trying to ascribe motive and intent.
For the vice president to say he knows who did it and the motivation, I don't even think law enforcement has said that there was a specific motivation behind it. So this is really dangerous.
A few moments later.
In addition to those text messages that were read, we also heard about the possible motivation as Robinson's parents explained that he'd become more radical, more left-wing leaning.
I think he also, I don't believe he was motivated politically. I think this was motivated emotionally. I think this was a emotionally stunted person who literally when I say it this way, just hear me, tried to defend his significant other, not trying to defend some ideology.
So you have both the shell casing that directly references transgenderism, and in fact, Charlie Kirk was murdered moments after he was asked a question about transgender mass shootings, and that's when the shooter filed. And
Groypers, the far right, our life's mission practically for the past 7 years has been to debate Charlie Kirk. And the markings on the bullet, the engravings, there were 4. 2 of them were furry memes. They were Reddit furry transgender memes about a bulge. That's the bulge that a person's penis makes, a cross-dresser's penis would make. That is a furry transgender meme on Reddit. There were 2 political memes, and they could not be more unambiguous. One said, "Catch this, fascist," presumably saying, "Catch this bullet, you fascist." And the second said, "Ciao Bella." Well, who would call Charlie Kirk a fascist? Who would even be dumb enough to think Charlie Kirk was a fascist? To the far right, Charlie Kirk is a lot of things. He's not a fascist. To the people further to the right than Charlie Kirk, well, by its very definition, Charlie Kirk is too moderate, too liberal, too progressive. What were our criticisms of Charlie Kirk? That he was too pro-gay, that he was too pro-immigration, that he was too pro-Israel. Those were our critiques of Charlie Kirk. Not that he was a fascist or a racist or a Nazi. Who would consider Charlie Kirk to be too far right? The people further to his right or the people far to his left? Who wouldn't consider Charlie Kirk to be a fascist? Obviously, the far left.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
What I was told so far, and I'll tell you what was wrong. First, I heard he's a registered Republican. Not true. Okay. Then he was a donor to Trump. Not true. His father works in the sheriff's office. Not true. There was a picture of him wearing a pro-Trump shirt. Not true. Member of the Democratic Socialists of America. Not true. We don't know what he is. Well, how are you so sure he's of the left? Now, I agree when you write on a bullet, what did he write on the bullet? Catch this
fascist, which is also a gamer thing.
Okay, but now I'm hearing he may have been part of that group for whom Charlie Kirk was not right-wing enough.
You mean the Groypers, yes. An extreme high likelihood, given the fact that he said to his family that Charlie Kirk was too hateful, is that he was not a Groyper, because the Groypers would have said that Charlie wasn't hateful enough. Okay, let's be very, I know this movie.
Friends and other people who know the suspected assassin have said he's the only left person in the family. We have reports from outside the family saying he was left aligned, and contextualized circumstantial evidence of pretty sure if you're dating a trans person, you're probably not conservative. But that in and of itself is not entirely far left. So I'm trying to be careful here because I want to give you the best and most honest assessment. This person was left aligned. To what degree? That's up for debate. But you're not going to make the argument that a MAGA conservative or Groyper is living with and dating a trans person. But that's exactly what the left has been doing now. They are claiming that Charlie Kirk's killer is in fact far right. And they're using fake photoshopped images, fake news stories, and they are also lying about things Charlie Kirk has said with fake quotes because they are in a panic. The left has flooded the zone with so much mis- and disinformation as if they're to inoculate their base from the harsh reality. It is a death cult.
One of his family members told Fox News that he hates conservatives and Christians and that he hated his family. He was not raised that way, but he, over the years, has become really detached, been radicalized. He has obviously gotten progressively worse the last year or two, said the relative, adding he's always very angry. Now, all these comments are about the boyfriend.
Hey, Patriots. Welcome back to FTL. Fighting the Lies, your GoQ channel for cutting through the mainstream media's spin and delivering the truth for the MAGA movement. I'm your host, And today, we're diving into an Axios article from September 15th, 2025, titled, How Charlie Kirk's Killing Sparked Unfounded Theories About Groypers. The left's exploiting Charlie Kirk's assassination to smear America First patriots and the Groyper movement. Subscribe, hit the bell, and let's get started. That word unfounded is huge. Even Axios admits the left's claims are baseless. They include a photo from 2020 of Nick Fuentes and his Groypers, young patriots pushing America first, but it's irrelevant. Just a scare tactic to paint them as dangerous. The article states, soon after Charlie Kirk's assassination, some on the political left quickly spread a baseless theory that the conservative podcaster was killed by a follower of the ultra-right-wing group called Groypers. Classic left, no evidence, just smears against a movement Charlie championed. It continues. Internet searches for Groypers skyrocketed last week as critics tried to connect Kirk's suspected shooter, Tyler Robinson, and the group's leader, Nick Fuentes, a podcaster known for edgy and socially transgressive content. They slap racist on Fuentes to poison the well, but that's the left's playbook. Searches spiked because leftists were hunting for dirt. Fuentes said on X his followers are being framed with zero evidence. Nick's right. The Groypers are scapegoats for the anti-Trump crowd. Here's the real motive. Authorities told Axios they believe Robinson's romantic relationship with his transgender roommate could be key to determining a motive for Kirk's killing, and that Robinson believed that the conservative was spreading transphobic hate. This screams leftist radical, not Groyper. Robinson was triggered by Charlie's stand for biology and women's spaces. Pure MAGA truth-telling. Those will bury the left's narrative. The partisan battle to define a killer as a follower of an ideological opponent has become a common response to high-profile slayings. True, the left always blames the right, like they did with Trump. Soon after Robinson's Friday arrest, left-leaning personalities speculated he was a Groyper, desperate to smear us. Utah Gov. Spencer Cox said Sunday on NBC's Meet the Press that Robinson showed signs of leftist ideology, though he was raised by a conservative family. Investigators have also said they believe he has leftist ideals. GOP governor and investigators confirm Robinson leaned left. Much of what has been reported about his childhood and home life is pulled from his mother's Facebook page. A photo of him dressing up as some guy from a meme for Halloween called the Swatting Slav. A meme costume isn't a Groyper badge, it's just internet humor. Robinson wasn't too fond of Trump or Charlie Kirk, a former co-worker of his told CNN. Anti-MAGA, plain and simple. The left's obsessed with tying a silly meme to Groypers, but it's a weak attempt to push their narrative. When authorities announced Robinson's arrest, they revealed that bullet casings recovered by investigators were inscribed with messages that appeared to be related to gamer and meme culture. Not political, just memes. Memes. Tyler Robinson is speculated to be a Groyper based on his memes and rhetoric. The left libertarian hacking collective Anonymous told its 5.3 million X-followers Friday. Anonymous, anti-conservative hacks, push this to millions. No facts, just noise. Pointing to the squatting Slav pose and Halloween costume, some liberals online argued it was associated with Groypers. but others disputed the claim, as does Fuentes. Fuentes says it's nonsense. These resistance boomers who found out what a Groyper was yesterday, Fuentes told Axios, nailing their cluelessness. 2 other engraved bullet casings referenced fascism. One apparently referenced a video game and said, "Hey, fascist, catch," and another referenced the anti-fascist Italian song Bella Ciao. Anti-fascist? That's Antifa territory, not Groyper. While liberals online have said the song was ironically adopted by Groypers, Fuentes told Axios he never heard the song before. Their excuse flops. Reality check. As noted by Time magazine, those who have covered Fuentes downplayed connections between Robinson and the movement. Even Time says no link. The left's narrative is dead. This article exposes their attempt to smear MAGA and Groypers with Charlie's death. Evidence points to a woke radical, not America First. The left's clinging to memes to push a baseless conspiracy. But the truth is on our side. Rest in peace, Charlie. We'll carry your fight. This article shows the left's desperation to divide MAGA by pinning Kirk's assassination on Groypers. But the evidence from investigators, Governor Cox, and Robinson's anti-Trump, anti-Kirk hatred points to a leftist radical driven by woke ideology. They're using Charlie's death to attack us, but we're stronger than that. Drop a like, comment, what's the left's next lie? Share this with every patriot. Subscribe to FTL for more truth bombs. And let's keep fighting for Trump and America first. God bless America, and let's make it great again in 2028. See you next time.